Hello, class. So when I first started, my problem statement was definitely way too broad. Just to kind of recap a little bit about what it was, is I currently work in a program that supports soldiers and their families, and the work that we do is non-clinical crisis intervention. So it's basically case management for soldiers and families to kind of help them prioritize all of their needs, look at what their stress life indicators are, connect them with different types of resources, and just follow up with them and make sure that they carry out all of their assignments, if you will, to get their needs met. And with that being said, in turn, the kind of data that we collect from within our program is just the feedback that we get from clients. Um, in this class, I've learned definitely a lot about the difference between qualitative versus quantitative data. And from what I've also learned at my work, is the leadership, whether it's the civilian side with me or the soldier side of command teams, they want quantitative data. And so that's kind of led into my research questions. When I first started, my research questions have definitely evolved. When I first started, it was just about finding different ways to measure effectiveness. I was initially looking at surveys, questionnaires, polls, testimonials, different methods to actually collect the data, versus now I'm looking at ways to take the data that I already have and how I can present that to leadership teams effectively. So that's the biggest difference with how my research questions have kind of evolved over time. Additionally, my focus did change. When I first was looking into this, I was looking at a plethora of factors like staffing changes, free programs versus costly programs, measurements of effectiveness, and lots of different methods for collecting that feedback. And the focus has changed to presenting the feedback. So with my team, we've kind of established some Excel tracking, if you will, to kind of document all of the feedback that we get from our clients. We look at their stress life indicators, how many of those that they have, and then we look at the key performance indicators, whether we've provided the information, and now we want to look as to if they've already resolved it, if they're working on resolving it, if they haven't resolved it, why or why not, and then turning all of that data kind of into a utilization report that's going to create numbers to then share with the leadership teams. Let's see. So I'm really excited for my Capstone project because this is all very important into my career field. And the program that I work in is definitely seen as important, but it's really hard to show how important it is when we can't reflect those measurements of effectiveness through quantitative data. So I'm excited for my capstone because I'm going to be using the grounded theory, and that's going to look at open, axial, and selective coding. And so initially when I first saw this, I saw a YouTube video about what the grounded theory was, talking about all of these different coding mechanisms. I did feel a bit overwhelmed. I felt like this was very scientific information, and I wasn't quite sure if my brain was going to be able to comprehend what I would do with all of these different types of coding. I've definitely done research, and I feel confident now in looking at the open coding because it's going to help me break down all of the different data that I pull from the stress life indicators as well as from the key point indicators. Then that axial coding is going to help me take the data, break it down into different possible connections from one soldier to another, in addition to analyzing the units that they come from. And so hopefully that will help us to establish different kind of trends within the units so that we can track that, be able to take that information to the leadership teams to share. We've noticed this type of trend within your unit. We're here to help. These are some different methods for support that my program can provide. Lastly, the biggest challenges that I faced when creating this proposal and what I would do differently next time is just do more research on what research is for writing a good paper. I went in a little blindly, but I feel confident now.